Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about machine learning, specifically how Apple Music and Spotify leverages artificial intelligence. My name is Emelina Bales, and here today with me are Roya Kelly and Jenna Schiemer. To start off, in 2003, Apple launched its music store. It sold 70 million songs at 99 cents per song. It created a need for an optimal organization and desire for further music discovery. In 2005, Pandora created algorithms that matched similar songs in the first prominent effort at creating this type of machine learning technology. In 2007, Amazon Music launched its music streaming platform and it coupled with its online music store, so further expanding its products offerings. In 2008, Spotify launched its customer-centric music sharing platform just a year after the first iPhone was released. In 2015, Apple combined its way to enjoy music all in one place. It comes pre-installed on all Apple devices, and it leverages its current network to promote its own platform. Further moving on, the music streaming is a way of delivering music in real time. It doesn't require you to download any files from the internet. The way the streaming process works is that audio files are delivered in a small packets so that the data is buffered on a device and is played pretty much straight away. The music streaming services can be used for free with limited access and with advertising, and it can also be offered with unlimited access to content libraries for a monthly subscription fees, no advertising. Music streaming services market share is accounted for 80% of all recorded music revenues in 2019, and it grew over 20% in the previous year. As you can see in the slides, Spotify is the clear leader in the industry, followed by Apple Music.
The next part of our presentation is going to focus on machine learning, which is central to the Spotify and Apple Music models. So machine learning is the most popular technique of predicting the future or classifying information to help people make necessary decisions. And there are 5 components to this discipline. The first, gather and input data. The second, analyze the data. Third, we find patterns in the data. Fourth, we employ predictive analytics. And fifth, we learn and improve processes as more data is gathered. Machine learning algorithms are trained over instances or examples through which they learn from past experiences and also analyze the historical data. So therefore, as it trains over the examples again and again, it's able to identify patterns in order to make predictions about the future. On the next slide, we see how machine learning pertains to the music streaming industry. And there are 3 pillars: collaborative filtering, natural language processing, and convolution neural networks. Collaborative filtering involves comparing a user's behavioral trends with those of other users. This should sound familiar, as content streaming platforms like Netflix similarly adopt this method to power their recommendation models. While Spotify doesn't incorporate a rating system for songs, it does utilize implicit feedback, like the number of times a user has played a particular song, saved a song to their playlist, or clicked on an artist page. This allows it to provide relevant recommendations for other users with similar tastes. Natural language processing analyzes human speech via text. This model scans and tracks metadata, blog posts about specific musicians, and news articles about songs or artists on the internet. It looks at what people are saying about certain artists or songs and the language being used, and also which other artists and songs are being discussed alongside it. So it uses emergent patterns to provide still better recommendations for its users. Convolution neural networks are used to hone the recommendation system and to increase accuracy, ensuring that obscure and new songs are considered in the model. It's most popularly used for facial recognition, but Spotify has configured the same model for audio files. Each song is converted into a raw audio file as a waveform. These waveforms are now processed by the neural network, assigned key parameters such as beats per minute, loudness, etc. Spotify then tries to match similar songs that have the same parameters as the songs their listeners like listening to.
So there are some differences in the product offerings between Spotify and Apple Music. First of all, Spotify offers a more flexible product in which users can choose to either listen on their free app or pay for the subscription, which then allows users to have more freedom in choosing what they want to listen to. This is known as the freemium model, and we will dive more into that later. Spotify is an open platform, and it allows users to download and listen to Spotify on any device that they may have. Spotify also has really narrowed in on their robust product or podcast offering and have continued to invest in these different areas. And you may have heard they recently acquired things such as The Ringer and Joe Rogan on their platform. Apple, however, has the biggest difference in that they do allow a seamless experience for those who have used iTunes Library in the past and also who already own the line of Apple products. They're also integrated with the Siri voice control feature, which users can utilize in-app when using and listening to music. Apple also offers an attractive feature in the Beats One radio stations that is something that Spotify does not have. As far as customer segments, we did want to touch on this briefly and really just highlight that we noticed that there are a few differences between the customer segments between Spotify and Apple Music, but really there's a ton of similarities. So outside of the age demographic is slightly lower for Spotify, and Apple is slightly higher with a little more disposable income at hand. We did notice that generally speaking, gender, listening habits, locations of these users, they're all very similar across the two competing providers. And now to dive a bit more into the machine learning comparisons. So Spotify's main machine learning application is Discover Weekly, whereas Apple Music has Genius playlists. And I'm sure all of us are familiar with one of these two offerings, but just to dive into, for example, Discover Weekly, every Monday, individual users will be presented with a customized list of 30 songs that are new to them based on the music that they have listened to in the past. So these recommendations allow for both exposure of the user to new artists and also for the artists to get their music out in front of people who wouldn't have organically searched for them on their own. This is similar to what the Apple Genius product does. This was made possible by Spotify acquiring Echo Nest in 2014 and Apple Music acquiring Siri and Shazam. And Spotify utilizes expert data wrangling to make this happen, whereas Apple Music utilizes in-house familiaris platforms.
So here we're provided with a company comparison graphic that shows you a lot of the features that are available between Apple Music and Spotify. So you can see up top with single subscription costs, down to student discounts, sharing your playlists, even the ability to stream Taylor Swift's new album. So it gives you a very upfront look about the market. And the next slide is going to tell you just exactly how these two compete.
So furthermore, this depicts how Spotify has leveraged machine learning and explicitly tells us how disruptive technology can position any company to displace previous industry leaders. So Apple started, was one of the first entrants in the market with its iTunes library and introduction of the iPod Shuffle, iPhone. However, it's really been disrupted by Spotify with leveraging its machine learning and really focusing on the customer experience of recommending songs that are best for the customer and make them the happiest. So it really shows how Spotify has been able to dominate the market by leveraging this technology. Thank you for your time. Any questions?